Have you ever wondered why some women are drawn to abusive partners? It's a question that puzzles many, a subject shrouded in layers of complexity and sensitivity. Unraveling the threads of this phenomenon is no easy task. It's a paradox, a conundrum that dances on the delicate edge of human psychology and emotional dynamics. It's a topic that demands our attention, our understanding, and most importantly, our empathy. In this video, we aim to understand the psychological reasons behind this seemingly paradoxical behavior. To understand this phenomenon, it's important to first grasp the concept of the cycle of abuse. This cycle is a recurring pattern of behavior in an abusive relationship. It typically has 4 stages, each with its own distinct characteristics. Let's delve into 2 of them: the honeymoon phase and the tension-building phase. The honeymoon phase can be quite deceptive. It's during this period that the abuser may shower their partner with love, kindness, and affection. They may apologize profusely for their previous behavior, promising it will never happen again. It's in this phase that the abuser often appears remorseful and willing to change. This creates a sense of hope in the victim, leading them to believe that their partner truly loves them and that the abuse was just a one-off incident. But then comes the tension-building phase. This is a period characterized by increasing stress and conflict. The abuser may become easily irritated, starting to pick fights over minor issues. They make the victim feel like they are walking on eggshells, uncertain of what might trigger the next outburst. The victim may try to appease the abuser to keep the peace, but the tension only continues to escalate. These 2 phases, the honeymoon and the tension building, are like 2 sides of a grim coin. They keep flipping back and forth, creating a vicious cycle that's hard to break. One moment, the abuser is sweet and loving, the next they are angry and violent. This unpredictable behavior keeps the victim off balance, making it difficult for them to clearly see the situation for what it truly is: abuse. The cycle of abuse is a manipulative tool, designed to keep the victim under the abuser's control. It creates a confusing mix of fear, hope, love, and despair, making it incredibly difficult for the victim to leave the relationship. This cycle often leaves the victim feeling trapped, believing there's no way out. One of the major psychological reasons why some women are drawn to abusive partners is low self-esteem. Now let's delve deeper into this critical aspect. Low self-esteem is a feeling of unworthiness, a profound sense of not being good enough. It's like a dark cloud that follows you, casting a shadow over your every thought, action, and interaction. When someone has low self-esteem, they often see themselves through a distorted lens, magnifying their flaws and minimizing their strengths. But how does this relate to being drawn into abusive relationships? Well, the connection is quite intricate yet straightforward. When a person has low self-esteem, they are more likely to believe the negative things said about them, even if they are untrue. They may start thinking that they deserve the harsh treatment they are receiving. They may feel that they are unworthy of respect, love, and kindness. The abusive partner, sensing this vulnerability, may use it to their advantage. They may manipulate, belittle, and control, all while the person with low self-esteem believes they deserve such behavior. The abuser may present themselves as the only person who could possibly love someone so flawed, further entrenching the cycle of abuse. But it doesn't have to be this way. Remember, self-esteem is not a fixed attribute. It can be nurtured and grown. Many resources are available to help individuals build their self-esteem and break free from the shackles of abusive relationships. Therapy, support groups, and self-care practices can all play a significant role in this healing journey. It's important to note that anyone, regardless of gender, can fall into this trap of low self-esteem and abusive relationships. It's not limited to women, and it's not a sign of weakness. It's a human issue, rooted in our inherent need for love and acceptance. It's a harsh reality, but low self-esteem can be a powerful magnet for abusive partners. However, with understanding, support, and self-love, this cycle can be broken. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect and kindness, and everyone has the capacity for change. Another psychological factor is the fear of being alone. This fear, as simple as it may sound, can be incredibly powerful. It can make a person tolerate abusive behavior and even convince them that it's better to stay in a harmful situation rather than face the unknown. Think of it this way: there's a saying, better the devil you know than the devil you don't. It might sound a bit grim, but it perfectly encapsulates the fear of being alone. It's the idea that it's safer to stick with something familiar, something known, even if it's bad, rather than venture into the uncharted territory of the unknown. The fear of being alone can manifest in many ways. It could be the fear of not having someone to rely on, the fear of not having someone to share life's moments with, or perhaps the fear of societal judgment. After all, we live in a society where being in a relationship is often seen as a measure of success, and being single is sometimes viewed as a failure. In an abusive relationship, this fear can be amplified. The abuser may manipulate their partner's fear of being alone to their advantage, making them believe that they are unlovable, that no one else would want them, or that they can't survive on their own. This manipulation can create a cycle of dependence where the victim feels they have no choice but to stay. But here's the thing. The fear of being alone is just that, a fear. It's an emotion, not a reality. And like all fears, it can be overcome. It takes time, support, and often professional help, but it is possible to break free from the cycle of abuse. Remember, it's okay to be alone. It's okay to choose yourself, your safety, and your well-being over a relationship that causes harm. It's okay to step into the unknown because sometimes the unknown can lead to something much better. The fear of being alone can be a potent force keeping women in abusive relationships, but it's important to know that there is help available, and there is hope for a life free from abuse. Childhood trauma also plays a significant role in this context. Picture a child growing up in an environment where love is entangled with pain. This child witnesses or experiences violence, neglect, or abuse. These experiences are not isolated incidents but persistent patterns that shape their understanding of what love looks like, what they should expect from relationships, and how they should behave in them. This early exposure to trauma can normalize abusive behaviors. When a child grows up in a volatile environment, they may come to perceive that as the standard. As they transition into adulthood, they might unconsciously seek out relationships that mirror the dynamics they grew accustomed to during their formative years. This can make it particularly challenging for them to recognize and break free from abusive relationships, because in their minds, this is just how relationships work. Furthermore, childhood trauma can also lead to a distorted sense of self-worth. When a child is repeatedly treated poorly, they might internalize the message that they are undeserving of love, care, and respect. This low self-esteem often carries into adulthood, making them more susceptible to accepting abusive behaviors from their partners. Lastly, it's important to understand that trauma can impact our ability to trust others and form healthy attachments. Those who've experienced childhood trauma may struggle with intimacy, often pushing people away out of fear of getting hurt again. This fear can create a paradoxical situation where they find themselves drawn to abusive partners, those who confirm their deeply ingrained beliefs about love and relationships. However, it's crucial to remember that childhood trauma is not a life sentence. With therapy, self-awareness, and support, individuals can heal from their past wounds, challenge their negative beliefs about love, and build healthier relationships. In conclusion, childhood trauma can cast a long shadow, influencing our adult relationships in profound ways. But the power to change lies within us. With understanding and resilience, we can rewrite our narratives, transforming our trauma into a catalyst for growth and positive change. Understanding these psychological reasons can help us empathize better with those who find themselves in abusive relationships. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've uncovered today. We've delved into the intricate cycle of abuse, a vortex that can be incredibly difficult to escape from. The cycle is often perpetuated by low self-esteem, a crippling mindset that can make individuals feel they don't deserve better, or that they're somehow responsible for the abuse they're enduring. We've also touched on the fear of being alone, a powerful force that can keep individuals tethered to toxic relationships. It's a fear that can be magnified by societal expectations and pressure, making the prospect of walking away even more daunting. And then there's the role of childhood trauma. This is a potent influence that can unconsciously shape an individual's choice of partners, leading them to replicate destructive patterns from their past. It's a harsh reality, but it's one we need to acknowledge if we're to understand the complexity of this issue. In understanding these points, we're not justifying or excusing abuse. Rather, we're recognizing the psychological factors that can draw individuals into abusive relationships. It's by acknowledging and understanding these factors that we can foster empathy, offer support, and ultimately help break these harmful cycles. Remember, understanding is the first step towards change. Let's be that change.